Day two of Royal Ascot, and we've got potentially one of the best races of the week too. It's the Prince of Wales Stakes, one of the most anticipated races of the summer. David Orr, joined by Matt Brocklebank to look ahead to it. Now, we've lost Desert Crown from this, Matt. He was the potential headline act. Sad that he's not there, but we have got the time from ratings graphic through. It is still a fascinating contest. Luxembourg 142, top by £1 from Bayridge, £1 back to Adayar and My Prospero. And Mustaf Daft's not even that far out of it, with just 5 away in there. So we've got 4 horses at the top with barely £2 between them. Is it that sort of race for you?
It is, Dave. Unfortunately, this isn't going to be featuring in the Valley Buck column. I wouldn't have thought. It's very, very tight, isn't it? You can go around and make a case for just about all of those. Certainly, all of those 4. My Prospero's definitely a lurker, isn't he? He's probably the one that. I think he's probably the biggest price of the 4 as well. And if there was a bet in there, perhaps it'd be William Haggas's horse. Obviously, he came back, ran in the Locking Stakes. He finished 4th. He definitely looked like he needed the run. It was an inadequate test of stamina for him. And don't forget as well, it was a time when William Haggas's horses seemingly were a little bit under the weather. I'm not sure if anything's fully come to light, but things have taken off in recent weeks. So I could certainly see My Prospero putting up a big performance. I don't have him down as the most likely winner. For that, I'm actually with Adayar. I thought the Derby winner from a couple of years ago. He just had an interrupted campaign last season, didn't he, Adayar? We only saw him a couple of times. When we did see him, he looked pretty useful. Obviously, he put in that huge performance at Doncaster and then backed it up with a good second to Baybridge in the Champion Stakes. And with Adayar, he's a Derby winner. He's a 5-year-old kept in training. I think it's all about getting this 10 furlong Group 1 win on the CV to create, they're making a stallion, aren't they? And if there's one horse in here where you kind of think this is his day, like he's not going to run in the Coral Eclipse. I wouldn't really fancy him maybe in like an Irish Champion Stakes, and then you're kind of looking obviously towards the Arc de Triomphe, and obviously he could run in the Jubilant International, couldn't he, I suppose? So they're kind of like the big hits for him. But this is at Ascot, where he won the King George. We know he loves decent ground. We know he loves the course. I think he's really high on my shortlist in this race. I think he'll take a bit of beating. We've
got a video form clue. It's from Luxembourg and Bay Bridges. It's the Tattersalls Gold Cup at the Curragh. Now we've got Luxembourg in front. This was billed a magnificent Ryan Moore ride. Plenty of people thought that Baybridge could potentially finish a little bit close. I mean, a big good story for Richard Kingscote, who lost the ride on Desert Crown, picked up this ride, and he's short of room there, is he? He has to squeeze between rivals. But if you watch him here, he's got rating room to go past him. He doesn't, not quite. Will he get past him at Ascot?
Yeah, I sense you sort of thinking he's had every chance there, hasn't he? He has, but Luxembourg's obviously got the rail. He was on such a roll. I think Baybridge has a squeak of reversing the form. I wouldn't want to hang my hat on it. They've pulled 6.5 lengths clear of Pittsburgh in third. It is strong form. The Tattersalls Gold Cup invariably works out and has done in this race as well. We saw it 12 months ago, didn't we? I think with the Joseph horse. But Luxembourg, he was another horse touted as a kind of potential Derby horse as well. And then the big rival there, Baybridge, has won the Champion Stakes, has got the number of Adayar from last season as well. So, we are going round the houses a little bit. I'm going to be dictated by price. I would have Adayar top of my list in terms of likely winner, and if I was to have a bet, it probably would be My Prospero, because don't forget, as a 3-year-old, he ran a massive race, just beaten narrowly in that kind of bunch finish to the Champion Stakes. Obviously doesn't get the weight now, but the fact that William Haggas keeps saying this is going to be My Prospero's year. If he's 4-1, 9-2, you could certainly make a case for having a bet on him. Probably wouldn't be backing the others at current prices.
Talk about the Queen Mary as well. It's the big 2-year-old race, 5 furlong for the fillies that opens a cat. Now, a couple of interesting Northern raiders. There's Midnight Affair for Richard Farr. I mean, we've got the regular column with Richard. He says that he's never had a filly work quite like she does at Mutley Bank. She's the rare exception. She's a filly, a juvenile, who works with older horses, because they're trying to get her to go a bit quicker, but they struggle to get off the bridle in her work at home. I think he was slightly expecting a bit more explosive performance in the Hillary Needler at Beverley, but she got the job done there. I know he's really excited about her. She's drawn 19, she's drawn high, which is often the place to be at Royal Ascot. High hopes that she'll go well, and I think she will, for Richard in the Queen Mary. And an interesting Calvert runner too, Matt.
Yeah, definitely. Beautiful Diamond, number 3. I thought I was really, really taken by her performance at Nottingham. Carl Burke's used Nottingham as a springboard for some of his good juveniles in the past as well. And obviously Beautiful Diamond, a daughter of Twilight Sun, she was really the talk of the town when it came to the breeze up sales. She went for significant money. I think it was a £360,000 at Goff's UK breeze ups, and she did it on the track. Now, interestingly, Carl, who won this race with Dramatised last year, he's been quite coy in terms of this horse because he just hasn't had her through the winter. You know, she's a relatively new compared to Dramatised, who obviously he had through the winter and he knew all about her. I think he's learning a little bit as he goes with this filly. She was 130 first time out. It's not like she was a really, really skinny price, but the way that she went through the race, the way that I think the in-running comments smooth headway, and like you don't hear that too often, do you, in 5 furlong 2-year-old fillies races, and I think it pays to take note. She's priced accordingly. She is among the favourites. She's about 5 to 1. I could certainly see her running a really big race. There are a couple of others to mention. Obviously, you mentioned Midnight Affair. Now, the runner-up from the Hillary Needler, Flora of Bermuda, I didn't think she got. She didn't get a brilliant run through the race, did she? And it's interesting to see that Andrew Baldwin, obviously, this filly could go and win a maiden, you know, doing handsprings somewhere, couldn't she? So he's willing to...
The Royal Ascot winner a runner will attract most owners.
Very true, very true. But she was a little bit unfortunate not to get closer to Midnight Affair, I thought. And that came on the back of quite a promising Sandown debut when forced to that Graceful Thunder. So she's a much bigger price. She's about 33 to 1. And the other one is William Haggas's horse, Relief Rally, who was entered up for the Hillary Needler and probably on the day, if they'd both been declared, might have been a shorter price than Midnight Affair, given her 2 victories, looking really good at Salisbury on her second start, having won at Windsor. And I thought Relief Rally is now suddenly a bit bigger priced than Midnight Affair. So she's about 14, 16 to 1. Kodiak, she was Haggas's first 2-year-old runner of the season, wasn't she, when winning? And she defied the penalty pretty nicely last time out. So they're a couple to mention at big prices. It's not going to be a feature race for me, I wouldn't have thought, on the Wednesday. We've got the Royal Hunt Cup to get stuck into as well, haven't we? But yeah, I think Relief Rally could run really well as well.
I presume you're about the only tips are not tipping Perotto for the Royal Hunt Cup as well. In the build-up to Ascot, he's been just about every banker I've seen. But Matt's value bet selection for the Royal Hunt Cup will appear on Sporting Life on Tuesday afternoon. Don't miss that. But there's his thoughts on the big group action on Wednesday. Best of luck with your own bets at Ascot.